Hello friends, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. My name is Kate and I love all things makeup, beauty, skincare, and fun. And today we are going to be playing with the new Halloween Town slash The Nightmare Before Christmas collection that Milk Cosmetics released. I picked up a few trinkets, so I thought we would do a quick video playing with those today. If you enjoy this type of content, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel down below. Without any further ado, let's go. So as I mentioned in the intro, I did not pick up the entire collection. The liners are just not something that I think I'm going to get a ton of use out of. I kind of think I might pick up those gels at some point in the future. I'm just not sure. But I did get both of the palettes. I know that the way that they launched these, the Halloween Town one came out first, and this one has that packaging. Both of them have that packaging that moved, but this one has, of course, Oogie Boogie on it. And then on the back here, it says, "Wasn't it terrifying?" And then inside of the palette looks like this. I'm trying to see if I can be seen too. I don't think so. So I think it's a super fun color story for Halloween. I think honestly, of course, you can use both of these year round, but I do like this color story. I think what I saw most was a lot of people kind of complaining that this color story came out first along with the whole collection, and then they launched Christmas Town. But I did grab that one as well. I admittedly waited until both collections were available so that I could get the bundle on the palettes, because I knew I did want both of them. So this is the Christmas Town palette. I think it's so cute. And then on the back here it says, "I've made a terrible mess of your holiday." I admittedly, in terms of like what color story I think I'll use more, I do think I'll use Christmas Town more, just because I tend to love the purples, the greens, and the reds, which is the entire palette. The entire palette, with the exception of this like bone shade up here called No One's Dead. I'm super excited. So I got the bundle on these. So both of the palettes together were $99. Melt is one of those brands that I have loved for such a long time. I feel like they've gone off course a bit in terms of, I feel like they're kind of dethroning themselves by launching mediocre quality and color stories and themes that haven't made a lot of sense. That being said, I do feel like the Halloween Town and the Christmas Town palettes have landed mostly well with folks who love Milk Cosmetics. They also just did a collaboration with Bailey Sarian. I'm not sure if I'm going to pick that one up. The glitter toppers in that one look especially beautiful. However, the palette is all mattes, and I'm trying to make sense of it, and I've made sense of it in the fact that I think that I could grab it and then use it with like one of my Adept Cosmetics all shimmer shadow palettes. I'm just not sure what the likelihood of me using that is. But I digress. The other thing I picked up from those collections was the highlighter. I might get the Duo one. It has Sally on the front. It has a blush and a cream highlighter. But this is what this highlighter looks like. It is so pretty. The color is pretty, but the embossing is also pretty. This is called True Love Never Dies in their Digital Dust formula. I have several other of their Digital Dust formulas and I love them. So we are going to hop in today with I think the Christmas Town palette, because this one is A, seasonally appropriate, but B, it's also the palette that I'm the most excited to play with. I did already prime my eyes using my P. Louise base in the shade 0.5. I'm not sure, honestly, where I want to go with this. A part of me wants to do red and green again, just because I love seasonally festive things. But I don't know. Let me think about what I'm going to do here, and we'll be right back. Okay, so I think I'm going to go with red. I'm torn because this color, Eureka, is like really calling to me, but I think we're going to go into Sandy Claus first, and I'm just using a no-name Mado brush from Amazon. So we're going to go into Sandy Claus, and we'll put that in the crease, and we'll see like if we can add any of the elements of green kind of from there. Melt is known to have some really pigmented mattes, and I'm wondering, I guess, for me, how this is gonna go. For reference, of course, I mentioned I do set my eyelids and put a primer down, but I don't set them in the way that I do not put a powder down on top of that. I like a more tacky base. I find that my pigments / eyeshadows show up just better that way. But with Melt, I might be like regretting that decision. It's kind of like where I'm going with this spiel. I'm gonna try to really blend this one so that it is more of a transition shade. It blends out nicely. Something, I guess, just to know, if you are interested in these palettes or Melt Cosmetics in general, is that they do have a quite pigmented matte formula. So it is best to build and not to pile on, unless you're kind of doing what I'm doing, where you're putting some down and then you're blending it all, because what can happen sometimes, and it hasn't happened yet, I've used one color, but what can happen sometimes with Melt shadows is that you get a lot of pigment and it's hard to blend out without it looking really intense, and it can kind of like consume the eye look. I think that's pretty. I think that's prettier than I anticipated. Next, we're going to go in with this shade right here called Nightmare. It's a super deep red, has a little bit of purple almost in there. I'm going to use the same brush, which might be a mistake, and I'm going to angle it down and tilt my head back so that I can get right into my crease. I have hooded eyes, so I have to kind of manipulate the way I am placing things so that it doesn't get lost in the sauce here. Almost looks purple, doesn't it? It almost looks like I went into Christmas Town, but I definitely went into Nightmare. Interesting. Not bad, just interesting. But this is what I'm kind of talking about. You can kind of see, like, even my dip went a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I'm just going to take a Morphe M443 with nothing on it. It's just stained, and just blend so that we don't lose that other color that we put down first. I typically do my eyes first, no matter what brand I'm using. If I'm doing a colorful look, if I'm doing a neutral look, I feel like it's less likely that I'm going to like get things going bananas everywhere, just because I'm usually not doing a super intricate look. And I mean, even this is not like intricate, but and I don't have any like fallout or giant mess, but I like to account that I might. So I tend to try to do my eyes. Sorry, I'm like trying to find an angle where you can see what I'm doing, but I can also see what I'm doing and do it well. Account for any kind of mess and be able to clean it up without worrying about my base getting messed up. I'm sure folks that have a more precise hand than I do, more skill than I do, don't have to worry about that as much, but I just think it's easier. And I'm less likely to feel kind of frustrated with myself, you know what I mean? If I am able to do something that allows me to clean it up as I go. I'm just using that Morphe brush again to go over this. Try to meld them together. I think that's pretty. It's not what I expected though. Like, I think you guys can see it. It almost kind of looks like pink and purple, not red and dark red, which is interesting. It's just not what I was expecting. It's not bad. It's just interesting. Okay, I'm going to use that Morphe brush and just go back in with Sandy Claus. I was trying to like not use as many brushes, but I don't think that that's the move here. And I'm just trying to like re-intensify that a little bit. This eye look is gonna get like dark before I know it, but what can you do, folks? What can you do? I will say though, they're blending out really nicely. Like they're not, the color is not what I expected. I'm not like mad. I'm just like, this is kind of derailed my plan. Because originally I was expecting this to be red. And obviously that has not come true for us. So I think what I originally was going to do is go into this one here called Mistletoe. But I think that that's going to look weird with the current color story. So I think I'm going to stick with the purple shimmers instead. I'm going to set down a glitter glue. This is the Glimmergrass by Unearthly Cosmetics. You can use any one, obviously. I do happen to really enjoy this one. If I'm looking for an intense shimmer, which is usually if I am applying a shimmer, I want it to be pretty intense. But especially if I'm using a new palette to me, I like to use my Glimmergrass or any glitter glue in general, because I find that it does allow these shimmers the absolute best opportunity to perform to their true potential. I've talked about this before, but for a long time I was doing the classic like spraying my brush with my setting spray and then putting the shimmer on, and that certainly worked as well to some extent. However, what I was finding is that I would like do it and apply it, and then I'd go back in with that same brush, and I was getting more hard pan issues on my shadows. So to avoid that, I'm just trying this method, and it works much better for me. All right, so I found a packer brush. This is an M167 from Morphe. And we're gonna first go in here with Bony Fingers, which is a little bit of the darker purple. We're gonna just put that on the outside. And then we're going to go in with Sugar Plum Visions, which is definitely more sparkly. And I think we'll top it off here with the shade called Experiments, which is almost a little duochrome now that I'm looking at it. I did not get the Electro Trip palette from Melt, but I heard that things were like very sus in that palette, which is ultimately what kept me from playing with it. But these shimmers are applying, well, that is beautiful. Just as lovely, wow, as I remember. But see what I mean about the glitter base? Like, I don't have the fallout, but I also have a really intense pigmentation, which is exactly what I'm going for. I'm just gonna wipe my brush off. I was looking for my little I have one of those things where you like rub it and it's like a really rough texture and it gets all the pigment off, but I can't seem to find it anywhere. I'm in the middle of doing my declutter series, so everything is in a state of disarray. So now we're gonna go into Experiments, which looks to me like a white, yellow, gold, but then when I hold it up here, it looks green. So very interesting. But nonetheless, we're going to go in with that on the inner part of our corner. Camera translation, not great. But it is very pretty on the eyes. It is very pretty. I think we might use it as an inner corner. Just gonna clean up the outside of my eyes, put on the rest of my makeup, and then we will be back and I'll kind of give you my final thoughts. Okay, so I'm back and most of my makeup is done. However, I still have to go in with highlight, so I thought we could do that together. I just have to find a brush for the occasion. We'll use this one by Laura Lee Los Angeles. This is her L36. I just can't get over how pretty the embossment is. This might honestly be a little bit deep Nope. For my skin tone, but just kidding. It's coming off as like a really pretty pink pearlescent. Little shifty moment. Very pretty. Like, let's be honest, did I need another pink highlighter? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But I really wanted that one. I missed out on the Melt Cosmetics Beetlejuice collection, so a lot of this purchase was like fueled by the fact that I missed it, and I was so upset about it. I'm gonna do my lips. I'm gonna line my lips with ColourPop BFF, which is probably my most used. We're gonna go in with a Lawless lipstick in the shade Wedding Day. I'm gonna just apply my mascara, and I'm just using this one by no, not by Charlotte Tilbury, by Pat McGrath. This is her Dark Star mascara, and then I will give my final thoughts. I'm just gonna poke back into Experiments for an inner corner highlight. I'll just use my pinky. Okay. So this is our final look. I'm not mad at it. I don't, I might sound a little disappointed perhaps, and that would be because I am, because what I wanted was the reds to be a little more red. And they're not, let's do a swatch. Like, they look pretty red. Looks pretty red, but then when I blend it, which I'll give it that, it blends out really nicely. It's just not as, I don't know, it's not as impactful, I guess, as I kind of wanted it to be. And that could be my error, the way that I played with it, the way that maybe I should have built up that first red that we put down more. I think what like took it in a starkly different direction was this shade right here. So in the pan, it looked to me like it was going to be a really deep red. Swatched out, it's a really deep purple. And so I guess my question is like, what is... This is Christmas Town, the one that looks like the dark purple in the palette. Okay, that swatch was terrible, but it, I was not expecting this. I was expecting a deep red. And so I think that that is what has me feeling maybe a little disappointed by it. Because I guess my question is like, how would one use that red without it taking like a purple turn in that palette? So that's like my little bit of disappointment. That being said, the formula was really nice on this. I'm excited to play with the greens. I'm excited to play again with the purples. I think the shimmers are really, really beautiful. Again, I like to lay down some kind of a glitter glue because I really do feel like it allows shimmer shadows to perform at their peak performance. And I do this for across the board just because I want, you know, I want my makeup to always be performing at peak performance. So am I disappointed that I have this collection? Absolutely not. I'm very grateful that I have this collection. My gripe is that Halloween Town comes with 3 purples, and then Christmas Town comes with 1, 2, 3, 4 purples. So I guess I would have liked to see something a little different. I guess I would have liked for that dark shade ultimately to be a really deep red. I think that that is where my gripe is. But I'm happy with the eye look that I have. It is not festive in any way. I was going for festive. So in that way, a little disappointed. The highlighter is really pretty. I'm wondering though, if you have a lighter skin tone than I do, how that would work out for you, because it looks like it was going to be a little bit more intimidating in the pan than it panned out to be, but it's very pretty and pink on the cheeks, so I'm not mad about that. All in all, I'm happy with my purchase. Again, a couple of like design things I personally would have done differently, but packaging is beautiful. The quality of the products is beautiful. Just a couple of color design choices, but that's personal preference. So thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I would love it so much if you would subscribe to my channel down below. As always, please stay happy, stay healthy, and stay blessed. And I will see you on the next video. Bye.